This is an Argentine tegu lizard, one of the largest species of tegu lizards that you can own, and in my opinion, one of the best large lizards that you can keep as a pet. I'm gonna take today and sit down with you guys and let you know exactly why I think an animal like Blue here is one of the best pet lizards you can get when it comes to these large animals. That's exactly what we're gonna be That's exactly what we are going to be doing today, talking about some rad facts about tegus and why they can just make amazing animals to keep in captivity. As always, I'm Dakota, this is a tegu, and you're watching Disney Channel. Stick around. The reason why I think tegus make absolutely amazing pets for large lizards is going to be, number one, the personality of the tegu lizard. Where are you going? We have to film. Back in the lap you go. For those of you who don't know, this is Blue. Blue is my black and white blue cross tegu lizard, and as you guys can clearly see, an absolutely tamed and mellow pet. When it comes to the personality of the tegu, it is absolutely fantastic. As you can see, I can do whatever I want. He's just chilling on me, but also likes to explore. He has a bit of a personality with exploring, rummaging around, checking things out. This isn't going to be like a ball python personality, for instance. This isn't a pet rock, although you kind of stop moving, so people are going to think you are Pet Rock. You guys not only have an affectionate and personable temperament where they're not going to try to lunge out, bite you in any way, shape, or form, they also like, as you can see, exploring, moving around, checking things out, but they won't mind you picking them up like this and calling them a very good boy. You are a very good boy. Let Blue's demeanor mistake you. Not all tegus are puppy dog tame. In fact, it comes with two big things, and that's going to be the species that you get, whether that's going to be a Colombian gold or some type of Argentine tegu like Blue is. What are you doing? Why? It's gonna come from the direct species you get. I always recommend Argentine instead of Colombian. You're gonna have a much better pet and a socialized pet like this. And the step two being the tameability and habituation of your monitor or your tegu lizard. This is going to come from what breeder you're using. If you're using a solid breeder that starts working with these guys from day one, you can have a nice tame pet. And number two, the work that you actually do yourself. It doesn't matter how much work the breeder... Now it doesn't... This was a mistake. This was a mistake, wasn't it? Where are you going? It doesn't matter how much your breeder works with it as a baby until it gets in your hands. If you are not still working on socialization and habitualization for this animal, you are still gonna get an upset tegu. And we all know what upset tegus turn into. Oh boy, I really hope a big chunky lizard boy doesn't pop up and try to bite me immediately. As long as you are working with your animal, making him as calm as he can be, and just spending some quality time with it, you are gonna have an absolutely amazing pet like this big boy that is off camera. Moving on, we still have a couple things to talk about on why I think tegus are gonna make the best pet lizard, and that is gonna lead us to number two, the diet of the animal. When it comes to the diet of the tegu lizard, I find it to be a lot better than your standard monitor lizard, and that's because of the fact that tegus are omnivores. They aren't going to need a straight carnivore diet like your standard monitor lizard, meaning a variety of whole prey, rats, mice, chicks, livers, hearts, meats. They can also have fruits and veggies, and actually do need fruits or veggies to thrive, which makes a shopping list a little bit more easier to get when it can consist of, let's say, ground turkey, some chicken thighs, and then some veggies and fruits. Versus a bunch of chicks and rats and mice that you would have to get as well. Don't get me wrong, whole prey is a great variety option for your tegu lizard and definitely something I recommend. However, it isn't gonna make the complete diet or the whole diet. You can experiment with different things, figure out what your tegu's favorite meal is, what's his favorite fruit, what's his favorite veggie, what food item is he absolutely not going to eat, and then you just wasted $5 on an entire thing of collard greens and he just refuses to eat any of it. He picks it out like a dog and goes for the other food items. Oh my. Fun little experiment on figuring out, you know, what your tegu likes, what it doesn't like. Sometimes you gotta trick them. Personally, to get my animals to eat collard greens, my tegu lizards, I make tegu meatballs, which is a little ground turkey meatball that I blend up some collard greens and stuff them in there and trick him into getting his greens, much like you would do with a toddler. Oh my god. I'll let you explore, but you have to explore over here, okay? You can't be wandering off. Alright, just look at the boa. Thanks, buddy. You will be in this video whether you like it or not. Reason why I believe tegus make absolutely incredible pets, and the best pet large lizard is going to be number 3, the enclosure size you need for this amazing animal. Comes to the enclosure size you're going to need for a tegu lizard, it is going to be a relatively large enclosure. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. However, again, it is not that entire bedroom. We're not talking about 10 foot by 17 foot by 12 foot tall space for an animal. We are talking about a relatively moderately size of an 8 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. Now remember, that is going to be the minimum size enclosurements to have a healthy and thriving tegu lizard. Bigger is always better. I don't recommend free roaming. Here's a video on why I don't think free roaming is good. Oh, he's licking my butt crack. I don't like that. This can make a great pet for someone that may be living in a relatively large apartment complex, if that apartment complex lets you keep 4-foot lizard, or a relatively small house. Now, remember, you can get creative with this stuff. I've used to have Rex, this being a 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot enclosure for my bearded dragon. I used it as a TV stand when we first started out and when we didn't have this entire building for reptiles. You can get creative with this kind of stuff, and an 8x4, while sounding like it is a lot of space, you can definitely move it around into the house and make it a part of your house where you're tegu can enjoy it and you can enjoy him at all times. Next thing why I think tegus make great animals and the perfect pet for a large lizard wanter. And that step is going to be number 3, the actual size of the animal. When everyone thinks about the most docile large lizard, we think of one thing, and that's going to be the Asian water monitor. And while I do agree, the Asian water monitor is an absolutely amazing pet, and with the proper habitualization and breeding with them, being a captive bred source, you can get an absolutely amazing animal. However, that animal is gonna grow somewhere between 6 to 8 feet long. That's a big animal, and we're talking about dimensions of an enclosure. You're gonna need a very big house, pretty much a spare bedroom for the damn thing, while also needing a lot of bulk food to make sure that animal is getting all the nourishment that it needs to thrive. The tegu lizard, that is not the case. Go away, get away from my feet. Don't eat my toes. Tegu lizards, you get a nice little in-between. You get a nice docile animal that you can pet, but it's not going to be a giant. It's not going to be something you're going to need a spare bedroom for. Tegu lizards, depending on what subspecies you get or color mutation, can range anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5, maybe 5 feet. I mean, 5 feet's really stretching it. That goes from getting the blue tegu lizard, which is going to stay around that 3.5 feet as a male, versus something like a Chicoan, which can potentially get that 5 foot. Why I think this is the perfect size for an animal, it means 2 things. You still get a large, impressive pet. I mean, look at this thing. This thing's bigger than most small breeds of dogs. However, you can still do this. You can still just pick them up because they really don't weigh that much, and then they'll just sit in your lap and you can stroke them and tell them they're a good boy, but then they won't say you're a good boy back. Get away from my toes. And then they'll leave you, just like everyone leaves you. I think it is a great combination for people that are interested in getting a large lizard and they want a nice, impressive animal. However, they don't have necessarily the entire room or an entire apartment space to create for just one specific animal. Almost done. Just stop running around. Look at that big, impressive face. Absolutely incredible. When it comes down to it, tegus just are incredible. One of the most beautiful lizards I have ever seen in my life. I mean, you get these high whites and black contrast. There's a couple different color mutations out there now, making brighter reds, albinos, blue ice. It's absolutely incredible. Tegu lizards, personally, for me, were a dream reptile. When I first got into the reptile hobby, this was it. This is all I wanted. And for 4 years, I waited till I owned my own place, had enough funds, and knew I can properly take care of an animal like this, and that is when we started working with these amazing animals. Point now in 2022, we have a breeding pair of tegu lizards, and definitely will be expanding on this project. We will start going through 2023 and onwards making tegu babies, man. Seeing the full life cycle of this incredible animal, man, that's gonna be something else. It is gonna be absolutely incredible. Now folks, it's your turn. Let me know in the comment section, do you think that tegu lizards make the best pet large lizard? Best large lizard pet? What do you think about the tegu lizard? Do you absolutely adore them? Are you with me? Are they a dream species for you? Or are you thinking, nah, Dakota, they're too vanilla. I want the Argus monitor that does this to your fingers. That's the lizard I want. Why did I get an Argus monitor? Always, folks, if you want to check us out on some more places, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/dbcbexotics. This is where you get the behind the scenes stuff of everything that's going on. If you want to be the first to know when we get tegu eggs, tegu babies, and have those babies available to the public, make sure to go check that out in the description down below. As always, thank you so much for taking the time of your day to follow us over here at DBCB Exotics. I will see you next time, but until then, goodbye.